we'll need to amend our electoral code to allow elections during martial law. But I made it clear that we'll only hold the elections if Washington is prepared to fund it. I can't just take $135 million from our budget. That's exactly how much elections cost to hold in peacetime. I don't know how much is needed in wartime. So I told him that if the US and Europe provide financial support, we'll have them. But I'm sorry, I'm not going to take money from weapons and give it to elections.
Let's talk more about this now with Olexiy Haran. He joins us from Kiev. He is a professor of comparative politics at Kiev Mohyla University. Thanks very much for being with us. So let's talk first of all about those comments by the Ukrainian president. He is essentially saying, yes, we can have elections if you want, but you're going to have to pay for it. Is he right to take that position?
No, actually, it's not the full truth about his statement, because he mentioned three reasons why it's difficult to have elections. And financial reason is the only one, because definitely to have the elections when the country is bombarded and insecure, and you cannot have, you need to secure the people, you need to secure the election process. It will take a lot of money. But I don't think, frankly speaking, this argument is the main. Again, journalists took just this very argument. But President Zelensky actually, and I don't think that this is a good argument, frankly speaking. There are costs of election, but it's not the main reason. The main reason is first, that the country is under attack. We have air alarms every day. We have bombardments, killings of civilians every day. We have millions of displaced persons every day. So now you have the war. You have the war unseen in Europe since World War II. It cannot be compared to American Civil War because there were no cruise missiles at that time. So my simple question, how can you have really, competitive campaign if you have the martial law during the war? Again, the war, when every day we are bombarded. So basically, even if we have polls, what are the guarantees that Russians would not bombard it? So I think this is the first strong argument against conducting elections right now. The second argument is the Ukrainian constitution. And Ukrainian constitution says that under martial law, which was introduced right on the day of Russian invasion, you cannot conduct elections. And moreover, in time of martial law, you cannot change the constitution, which is very logical. So I think these are the two basic arguments which are going against conducting elections right now, because we have martial law because of the war. And second point, we cannot secure our citizens conducting campaign and going to the polls. The third argument, financial, for me, is the weakest argument, and I don't think why I'm not sure why President Zelensky decided to talk about it. I don't think he formulated it good. So there are other arguments, as I have said, which I'm strongly in favor of elections. Look, I'm strongly in favor, but basically, how can you do that?
All right. Well, let's talk about international support for Ukraine more broadly then. One of the conditions that's being put forward for further support is that the country has to do more to crack down on corruption in the country. What do you say to that?
Well, I would say that, look, we are fighting corruption since 2014, and but still there are problems, and we know these problems. So I think, look, this is demand not from the West. This is demand from us, from Ukrainian citizens and from the civil society. And I would like to draw attention to the fact that basically a lot have been done to secure transparency of funds. And despite, as I have said, we have martial law, but despite the martial law, we have immense democracy. immense democracy in the country. We can freely criticize our president without any problem. We are not Russia, okay? If you follow main Ukrainian media, internet newspapers, there are discussions all the time. And yes, the public and media are discussing the case of corruption. And in some cases, they manage the government to react very quickly. Actually, we have a contest of different interpretations because, you know, we are a democratic state, and we have Supreme Court, and we have the courts which are not under president. Again, it's not like Russia. So basically there is competition. There are accusations and there are defenders. So, but the main thing is that we continue discussion. It's not democracy. I would say that in time of war, we have incredible level of democracy and possibility to control the government and to criticize the government. I'm also criticizing the government when I think it's necessary, and I'm doing it openly. And a lot of my colleagues are doing that. But at the same time, we understand that, you know, during the time of war, there are certain limits, and we understand it.
Good to get your thoughts on this, Olexiy Haran in Kiev. Thanks for being with us.